Boom, we're rolling. Taylor, we've known each other for 6 seconds. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, man, 6 seconds, but we know each other a lifetime, dude.
That's it, man. Like I was telling you before we pressed record, I really enjoy your content. It's good stuff.
Thanks, man, dude. I try to keep it as authentic but entertaining. It's because it's about you got to have both.
Yep, yep, absolutely. Who are you, man?
Dude, I'm a guy that is terrified of being average. That's who I am. Terrified of it, man. I got that that seed of ambition in me planted a long time of a lot of time and for a lot of many years is misguided, right? It was just that kind of that storm in me. But I'm somebody that every day strives to get better, strives to understand myself a little bit more, exercise a little bit more restraint, get a little bit more clear of what port I'm sailing to. That's who I am.
Have you always been like that?
I think looking back, I like to think I was always very goal oriented. I got shit done. Like I was pretty good in school, played sports. Like I never was like kind of a fuck off, but that energy was misguided, like I said before, kind of the younger years, which I think a lot of guys do, because I think I read something, our brains aren't really formed until 25. That's what I'm going to hang my hat on. My brain wasn't formed yet. So, my brain wasn't really formed yet, but it was, just immediate gratification on and just things in my immediate purview or a little bit. But I always had that, okay, I'm going to go in the military, I'm going to do this, but I can just kind of fuck off until that time comes. And so that was kind of the theme of my early years.
Okay. You're a former team guy, right?
Yep, I am. I was at SEAL Team 7 for about 7 years, 60
Okay.
some change.
All right. This is a super loaded question, so I'll try to dial it down and compact it a little bit. Give me like the top three things that being in the teams taught you that you still use today.
Man, this is good. Teams, definitely through the selection, it really opened up my realization of what capacity was. Wow, you can really push your body and your mind and really achieve. Gave me a lot of confidence in the ability to set a goal and power through some things. And I always kind of thought I was whatever tough means, but I had nothing really to like prove it. So that was kind of nice. It gave me a little confidence in that, but also gave me a lot of tactical proficiency, like actual mechanics of weapons manipulation and tactics and just understanding battlefield geometry. And so that gave me just the tactical proficiency, which I liked. And then the autonomy was interesting in the teams. And that autonomy kind of forced this responsibility, this learned responsibility. So it taught me responsibility quickly. Like, I mean, you get in the teams as a new guy, you're immediately like a lot of different units. So you're responsible for millions of dollars of gear and booking your own trips and you're in hotels by yourself. And so it really it taught me move the meter quickly on responsibility, not to mention you're dropping live ordnance around teammates and shit, So that definitely opened up the capacity.
Interesting. And you still carry all of those traits today?
I definitely do. I definitely the confidence, right? That's something I don't like to just hang my hat on it, but it's definitely a foundation that was built of, man, learn how to be a good teammate, learning how to be, viewed as capable, right? That was an important piece and like, man, people say, I don't care what people think. Fuck, dude, I do. Definitely the people I care about, right? I give a shit. I care about respect from people that I respect big time. And so I try to cover down on it. And I think that if that is as men, bro, respect is in our hierarchical circles. It's like, it's not just like respect for yourself. That's part of it. But man, how do other people respect you? That matters too. Setting up your daily processes and who you are and arriving correct. That's definitely all something I bring with me today.
Do you feel like leaders are born with it, or can you like shape somebody into being a good leader?
Both, definitely. I think there's definitely people who have divine leadership ability. I've met some of them in the teams, man, right? Guys that were just, maybe there's a little nurture in there, but there's definitely nature. I think some people just are chiefs, man, and really have that divine leadership ability. I can think of a few off the top of my head that were really impressive. And there's that titled leadership ability, right? You're given the title, and then there's that divine leadership ability where it doesn't matter what rank they are, they're still going to kind of run a pack. But I think you can learn it. It's a skill set. You could take somebody who's got divine leadership ability and make them even more awesome, and you could take somebody that's a little shaky and put them with a lot of responsibility and mold them into a better leader. for sure.
I feel like leadership gets tossed around quite a bit, at least online these days. What do you feel like makes a good leader?
Dude, people talk about leadership in a very water sense. Bro, leadership is it's you have to be the example. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the best, right? At everything, but you have to be the example of what clear intent looks like. You have to you have to put a lot of what you want to the side. You have to exercise a lot of restraint, emotional control. You have to have high emotional intelligence, which is what a lot of people don't talk about. You have to be able to understand other people well, right? Not just about understanding yourself. Look at CEOs and guys in big leadership positions. They're not the fucking most intellectually smart, but they're very emotionally intelligent, because you have to understand how to put people in the right places. You have to understand, okay, this guy has these friction points. Okay, here's what I got to be aware of. You have to understand people's weak points and strengths and be able to mold everybody. So, but also you have to hold the line of standard. You have to be definitely way ahead of the line of standard in a lot of capacities. You have to inspire, which is what people don't talk about a lot is, well, you don't have to, but a great leader is inspirational. Great leaders inspire, and inspiration is, bro, how do you inspire people? Right? That's something I talk about with guys sometimes is how do you actually create inspiration? Well, I don't know. I guess that's different for everybody. What's inspiring, but I know somebody that is committed is inspiring, somebody that's capable and also gives a shit about the people under them. That's inspiring. So I think this kind of beautiful concoction of all those things is what creates a great leader. Shouldn't say a good leader. A great leader is inspirational, is capable, is emotionally intelligent. It's like these. You have to be a lot of things to be a good leader. To answer your question directly, Tyler, you got to be charisma. Fuck, like what even is that, right? Charisma. You have to have this really really interesting blend of things to be great.
That inspiration, I feel like that's a tightrope right there.
Yeah.
Because if it's not genuine, the boys are gonna know that.
Dude, that's why I say, like, what is inspiration? Inspiration is authentic. It's got to be authentic. Has to be authentic. Has to have a little fire, but it can't be beating the chest, hoorah, right? It can't be like just some hoo-yah speech. Get out there and be somebody. Like people got to know that you're gonna charge in with them in the front. Hey, look at these great leaders in history. The Napoleons, the Alexander the Greats. Dude, these guys fought, right? They're fucking fighting, man. Especially Alexander the Great. Charging into battle with like, bro, that's inspirational because it's not just like being willing. We saw this in the SEAL teams a lot, not so much in the French Foreign Legion, which we'll get into, but in the SEAL teams, I saw a lot of guys. I think the training is built this way, but you go through selection with officers at the same level, right? And then they're kind of coming in, they're slinging an A-dub, even as a junior officer. But also, it's guys that aren't just like, hey, go do that. They'll like go do it with you. They're going to be down, however mundane it is, right? You see, sometimes you'll see I saw some great leaders who pushing a broom in the office. Doesn't have to, right? And it's not like, they could delegate that, but it would take 2 seconds to them. But it was just, they're not floating above. And I think that's like a great, you saw this with the Spartans, like a lot of those great leaders, dude, they were fucking down in the trenches with the dudes. You could probably just their helmet or something would differentiate them from the rest of the pack,
Yeah, like obviously our government leaders can't really fight and lead like that, but you
Yeah.
you did see it a little bit with the Trump thing.
Yeah.
That assassination attempt where he fucking
Yeah.
just pretty much just wore the damn thing, got up, hoorah type of
Yeah.
shit, right? Like
Yeah.
that fired a lot of people up. That got a lot of votes for people that might have been on the fence. It's like, fuck, this dude's a warrior, man. Like
Yeah.
stud. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I get it.
Yeah. The not being fearless, but being able to, but somebody that is willing to walk into the fear.
Right.
Right. And that's really what I think is what we're talking about here is they'll charge in because, yeah, they're scared, but they're still going to do it. And that's what we saw there. And leaders with politicians specifically now, they can be inspirational. And so how can a politician be inspirational? Well, the sincerity with what their message is, the honesty, the putting aside of what's self-fulfilling or it's going to propel themselves for the greater good. That is another piece I would say was a great leader, the greater good ahead of self. I saw there was a great leader I had that I went through training with. He's actually at a tier 1 unit right now, still fucking running and gunning, but one of my best friends, and he was put in a leadership position he had no rank. We were the same, right in buds. It was kind of pushed to the front just because he had that divine ability and very capable. he would always eat last. And I always fucking never said a word about it. Sometimes there'd be like no food left, poor motherfucker. But he would always fucking eat last. And I always found that very inspiring. I did. Even in like super hungry days, cold as fuck, dude, he would always stand in line and wait last. And he would have to rush through. And, you know, it just wasn't definitely not convenient. And he had other shit to do. But it was, I always found that to be a very interesting, just small thing, but actually very big because it said a lot about him and what he held as important.
One that always stuck out to me is I'm former LEO and we, have a range day or whatever, and you'd have lieutenants, sergeants, and shit like that scooping up brass after range day. That always like held a lot of weight with me for whatever reason because they don't have to fucking do that.
Yeah. Why though? Right? It's not seeing yourself as above. There's a I don't like the word humble by design, but that's what it is. It's like not having too high of an opinion of yourself to where you're above seemingly mundane things that you could delegate to somebody else. Now, in the Foreign Legion, I would say that is not the case. Tell you what, that was one thing that was always would grind my gears about, and not shitting on the Legion at all. This was just one specific thing that was because you have French officers, a lot of foreigners, and French officers go through the academy. Dude, these guys wouldn't even clean their own guns ever, right? It was literally just give them the gun. They got something else to do. Even sometimes the NCOs, not all the time, but that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, dude, you don't want to clean your own gun? It takes 2 seconds. It's like, it just kind of was. I just had never seen that before. And we definitely didn't do that in the teams, and so that ability to be down shoulder to shoulder and then step forward when you need to is important rather than behind kind of mushing.
What would your teammates say about you if Taylor Cavanaugh got brought up in conversation and you weren't there? What would they say about you?
Dude, I think a lot of them would say, dude's capable, right? I trust him. And those are the two things that I really cared about, right? And then in my immediate circle, definitely that. On a more exterior circle, they're like, yeah, he had some problems off the field, right? Which is fair, which is absolutely fair, and I've heard that very capable operator had some problems off the field. I've heard that before too, in different circles. But my immediate circle, definitely someone that you could rely upon, which was, being reliable was something that and seen as capable. Like going into that pipeline, I remember reading a book about Blackwater. Like in like '09, there was like a book written on him, and I remember reading it. And this was before I went to boot camp and shit. And I was like, damn, dude, who are these guys, bro? Like some of these operators and shit. And then one of those guys, Jimmy Watson, ended up being, one of my really close friends. And he said something. He's like, hey, dude, like you're fucking. He just kind of gave me a little props one day and stuff. And it took me by surprise just because I didn't really. And I was like, damn. And I realized I was like, dude, the whole reason I went into this was to gain guys' respect and see how I measured up, but gain guys' respect that I respected or that I look up to, right? And I look up to them and they're what guys have done and shit. And I'm like, damn, dude, wow, that's kind of having it seen back. That was an important thing for me and something that I held at really high regard.
You can tell me to kick rocks if you want to, but you said problems off the field. You want to dive into one or two of those?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. I got no problem, dude. I'll open book. That's because we can't be authentic. You can't expect people to be authentic with us. We can't be authentic. Dude, I fumbled the bag so hard on opportunities, right? I was prepping to
You're
scream for the
hip.
next level. Dude,
You're
prepping to
hip.
scream.
That's what the kids say, Taylor.
Yeah, dude. I've been moving and grooving. I've been doing my research, dog. Fumbled the bag. It was, early promotes, really moving ahead, but partying too hard. And it was like, not all the time, but it was like, turn one on, lose my wits, kind of have some close calls. But you have enough close calls, you're going to get burned. And that was pretty much it. And it wasn't like going out causing problems, but, being kind of rowdy and this and that, or kind of just stumbling home. It's like, dude, it's just a matter of time. And that's what happened, man. We got in a little altercation in a bar, one punch. And then next thing you know, it's it's an aggravated assault charge, facing 6 years in prison plus 3. I'm still active duty with a top secret clearance. You can imagine the cascade of shit. So I'm NJP'd along with, the civilian side.
Were you in country?
No, I was in the United States. Never had any issues on deployments. Never had any issues on deployments. I was, because I was pretty locked on. I always really liked deployments for the most part, just because it's, a lot less distractions, coming back. But it was that type of a thing. Just getting a little rowdy, getting a little too much on the firewater, and then just doing dumb shit. And that was stack some small things. And that's really what brought the heat, while I was actually in the teams. And then after the teams in the civilian world, then just the governor was kind of off. Was still working, still hitting those wickets of success, quote unquote. But doing Adderall and Xanax and stuff, during the day, and not being my best self, and definitely not centering my chi, definitely not living in a good battle rhythm of any type of sustainability. And that's where I ended up getting a lot of friction points, just life wise and stuff. Never had any arrests or anything after that. My last time in the SEAL teams, which was 10 years ago, something like that. So I haven't had any arrests or anything like that since then. But that was all it took to really kind of put the nail in the coffin of my SEAL career. What that actually did, it actually wasn't that got me kicked out, which got me a general discharge, but it was a failed steroid test. Navy JAG was like, this guy again type thing. Well, let me, and I passed the drug test, right? That really wasn't my issue. I passed this and I was kind of beating the case again. And they're like, we're going to send this guy's blood work up to the Olympic testing center, and lit every light on that fucking test up. And that was the zero tolerance policy. So that's kind of how that all played out, but not a victim. Right. I brought the heat on myself by a bunch of bullshit. It would have happened. I never would have put myself in that situation. And that was it, which is smart, dude. You're given an opportunity and a responsibility to, I would say it's like a pro athlete. You're given some opportunities and some things and your requirement is to fucking act right. People are looking at you. You have a magnifying glass on you. And when you slip up, you take the heat. Right, the axe falls, and that's kind of how that happened.
How do you get out of that hole, man? You're doing Xanax, you're taking Adderall. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing that shit.
Yeah.
Was there like a coming to Jesus moment, or did somebody sit you down? I mean, I'm sure that's probably not an easy task to do with a freaking former team guy, but like, what happened to get you kind of on the right path again?
Dude, God sat me down.
Good.
Dude, God sat me down, and it came in the form of when my whole life had crumbled, and I'm in my truck, suicidal, man. Like, I have a sawed-off shotgun on my side passenger seat. I'm in the jungle of Hawaii, parked way off into where I had just kind of run off to try to get off opiates. I had stacked the fentanyl addiction on top of this, even while working and building a cannabis distribution company and residential real estate development. I was still doing all these things while doing all this other shit, right? And it all came crashing down, and I realized I had lost the job, lost my life, the money, everything was gone. The title, all my shit was gone. And this was about 2 years to the day when I had gotten out of the military, to kind of give you a timeline. And I realized I turned my car off, bro, and it was just like the quiet of the engine killing. And I went, this is how it happens. I looked at my bank account. I had like $6 in it. I had no gas in my car. Fucking nothing, nowhere to go. I realized, oh fuck, I'm homeless. I realized, dude, I'm homeless, and I'm in my car. I went, oh shit. And then I sat there for 3 days. 3 fucking days, man. I did not move out of that spot, like deep in the jungle, dude, kind of where on the big island of Hawaii where the volcano was erupting. It's kind of an interesting place. But I just was thinking, man, and I was just tired. And I just was tired of trying, and that ambition, that seed was gone. I didn't even know which direction to go. And I would go for little walks in the jungle. I'd be like, oh, dude, maybe I'll jump off this cliff. Like, I didn't want it too messy with the gun and all this stuff, dude. But then that authentic voice of God really spoke to me, and that moment of clarity to kind of answer your question was like, you pussy. This is literally what I heard, bro. Listen to your internal dialogue. You have a sister, you have a mom, you have people that care about you. I had isolated completely. I wasn't picking up my phone, turned my phone off. I don't even think we had service down there. And what type of damage are you going to leave with that? Well, is that really what you're going to want to leave, man? That's your legacy? And that's when I decided, I was like, all right, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to at least do it with my boots on. I'm going to go in the French Foreign Legion. Maybe they'll send me to combat or whatever, dude, and whatever. But at least I'm not going to go out by my own hand like that. And so I organized my shit, man, and I pretty much took a couple fast cash loans out, and not pretty much is exactly what I did, and then flew to France, man. In about a couple of weeks, I was there.
Man, I can't even imagine the thoughts that are going through your head those 3 days.
Yeah, dude, it was dark. It was dark, man. It was really hopeless, and that's the scary part. But it wasn't sad, and that's when I knew it was dangerous. I wasn't crying. I wasn't fucking sad. I was numb. And that was when I knew it was kind of dangerous. I wasn't like, oh, poor me. I was a little bit like poor me, but I wasn't like sad about it. It was a very factual thing. Like, I'm just kind of done trying. I've tried, but then I really, when I pointed the fingers back at myself, it was, dude, you did all this. This was your actions, your fucking choices that have created your reality. And that was a tenet that I took with me. And to answer your question directly, Tyler, how did you pull myself out of it? It was resetting that stake on the horizon. Like, all right, I don't know if this is the right direction, but I'm going to start moving in a direction and pick my pen back up and stop having like my reality dictated to me by poor choices. Let's do this. And I flew to France, ran and got off, just cleansed my system out because I knew they're going to drug test me on the way in. It's the military. Just kind of ran and pounded water, and it just got right, and was like, what the fuck am I doing out here? I landed in France. It was just like cold and raining. I'm in Paris, which is dog shit. If people don't know what Paris is, smells like piss, dude. I'm like, what am I doing out here? But we did it, and it was over that like next half decade about was pulling me out of that hole. It took a while, man. It wasn't just like overnight, and I was like, hooyah. I was identity crisis. Now I'm in a Foreign Legion barracks room after passing selection. I'm still not happy. So then I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do next? Like, I'm looking at mercenary stuff, or Ukraine was kicking off after a couple of years. I'm like, look, but then I really started to maybe mature a little bit, but also going, you know what? I'm just going to hold myself to a better daily habit rhythm, better blueprint, wake up early, track my food, work out more, just, and not have vices pulling me in bad directions on the weekends, holding myself to a higher standard, which I guess I like to think I had, but really when I didn't really notice how much I said yes to myself until I started saying no to myself. That was
Mm.
really the truth. I was like, shit, man, like you can't just do whatever the fuck you want whenever you want and expect shit to work out. And I had proven just how many rotations of self-sabotage I had. That was the correction, is like, and that was a few years of hitting that battle rhythm of just correct action, focusing on my body and, just how I wanted to evolve, body, mind, and soul. And that was it, really, and just erasing all the other shit. And then I started to feel better. And then that's when I realized, I went, oh shit, man, I feel better. And that's how I pulled myself out of that hole, was just small daily actions.
Yeah, it's just a giant self audit, really, is what it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, that's good, dude. Yeah, a massive self audit, an honest audit about who I was, how I think and interpret the world or move in it. Is something's wrong? Like, there's good parts. I can achieve things and set goals and like do them. So there was good parts in there, but then it doesn't all matter if you break it all down. There's something's wrong with the foundation. I'm like building a house on a sand or something, right? And that's how I kind of viewed it. I'm like, oh, if I need to build like a big structure, I need to have a much better foundation. I call that foundation your system, right? You're never going to ride to the occasion. It's like going to the range and shooting. I love that saying. They're like, dude, you're never going to rise to the occasion and be some badass fucking sharpshooter when shit pops off. You're always gonna be the shittiest day you're shooting at the range. That's you, bro. Right? That's you when the adrenaline starts pumping, and that's really kind of how I viewed this. I'm like, all right, you're gonna have bad days and things are gonna not go well. Like, what am I falling back to? And that was part of it.
And then you started to kind of find yourself, and then were you like, man, I'm starting to feel better. So you would just kind of rinse and repeat the things that you've been doing that have been working for you to kind of try to build momentum.
Yeah, dude, that was repetition, reps of acting right and getting distance between shame, guilt, right? That guilt shame loop. Like, I'm sure a lot of us growing up, just as young men, we do this. It's like, have a bad weekend. You're kind of not really proud of yourself, damage control. And then you're like, Wednesday, you're kind of coming back to it. And then you're like, you're taking a lot of back steps, and you're like kind of taking some forward steps, some side steps. And I was like, well, let me just simplify and streamline the things that I'm doing, quite literally, like where I went, what I did, what I ate, like really that self audit, and going, what am I doing that's moving? Are my actions aligned with where I'm trying to head? And if they're not, and that's financially and shit, like my financial discipline was bad, before. Like, I'd be making a lot of money, but still leaving paycheck to paycheck, right? Making, over 6 digits and still fucking, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Drugs, definitely, and all these different things, but just lifestyle. And so in the Legion, I was like learning how to save money on like $1,500 a month, which was shocking. But I was like, how am I saving more money now? But I realized I just simplified down what I was doing tremendously. And then I just carried those habits with me now, right? When, you're making more money, and I just like, well, because I realized what moved the meter for me. And it wasn't wasn't these kind of dumb things. It was holding restraint and having a much more clear picture of where I'm trying to go.
I believe people miss the boat on that, where it's like we brought up rinse and repeat. You're finding what's working for you, and you're literally just repeating that the next day because it's fucking working. You
Yeah,
can apply that to so many aspects of your life, dude. Like something as stupid as social media. People
yeah.
are trying to grow their brand or whatever. It's like, oh, wow, I had a reel that did really, really good. Instead of trying to repeat that process in structure of the reel to post the next day to do another good one, they just completely switch up and try something completely different and it flops.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing with business. I mean, you can apply it to so many things. It's like, dude, once you hit it, keep trying to redefine that, but stick to that blueprint because there's a reason why it fucking worked. Just stay with that.
People are like, oh, butterfly. You know, dude, there is a power in accurate consistency.
Yeah.
There's a power in doing more volume of correct work. And people do this with working out stuff. I'll be working with people and they'll be working for like 2 weeks, right? Weights give them down. They're like, hey, dude, are we going to mix it up? And I go, mix it
For
up?
what? For what?
I go, dude, it's been 2 weeks. I was like, bro, I was like, dude, I've been doing the same shit for 4 years. It's like, bro, you're mixing up what? And there's this like, it is a societal thing of like, oh, we got to mix it up. Why? What do you got to mix up? Like, you don't mix up what works. You don't fix something that's not broken. I understand slight variations and adjustments, right? I'm all about that. Bend but not break. But dude, the mixing it up thing is, first of all, that's not really what I like. I'm very repetition oriented just by name. I get more pleasure out of like a good daily flow. I found that to be, for my psychology, it works better. Some people might be a little different. I found for me, it's like I can eat the same thing every day and fucking do all the same. I can totally be happy doing that. I don't like chaos. I like to combat chaos, which is the world, with simple systems. And with business and stuff, it's like the more complex you're making things, you're also adding a lot of variables. And this is what we talk about with food and stuff with people is I'm like, I need to simplify down what you're eating so we can know what's working and what's not. You're trying to make things so Gucci and complicated. It's like, dude, sophistication, simplicity. Look at architecture, look at businesses and technology. What is the trend? The trend is simplification. That's the trend. It's like the more clean and simple things are, the more sophisticated they are. Why not our day, our house, or everything like that? Your closet. Simplify it the fuck down because that's actually sophistication because you have it honed down. It's like somebody's kit, a cop or military, whatever. You look at somebody that really knows what the fuck they're doing, it's very streamlined. It doesn't look like a one-man band. You see guys with like at airsoft tournaments and shit, they got shit all over them. It's like, because they don't really know what they need and what they don't. When you see guys that are real good at what they do, it's simple, very simple down. That's how I like to take that same theme through my life. It's like, dude, try to have the same wake up times. I'm not a robot, but try to do this. That's that morning process. I keep a very similar morning process, if not very similar every day. And that's like the foundational piece when I'm thinking about like what you're consuming, like don't just scroll aimlessly, creating anxiety for yourself. It's like do things deliberately and focused in a very simple way, and magically things start to align a lot better.
Yep. It's crazy how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, and dude, people in business that know what they're doing and know what's working and pick a line and stick with it do really well. It's Hermosi, who I'm sure you know about. I really like Hermosi. And he says, dude, is it easier to do three things at once or one? And I like that. It's, dude, pick a lane and commit to it. And when it gets hard, yeah, you might need to adjust or pivot something, but don't get off the lane and go try something else. It's like there's going to be these friction points, but stay the course because the guy that stays the course, and Andy Frisella says this, he's like, you start into a venture and you're competing with 1,000 people. He goes, well, in a year, now it's 100. And in 2 years, now it's 10. In 3 years, now it's 5. And so the experience of those years, now you're really competing with fucking 5 people. Who's going to keep going? And in 10 years, you'll see who really was about the business. And it wasn't really about doing anything super Gucci and fancy. It was really just picking an accurate line, an intelligent line, and sticking with it. That was the smart way.
There's a term for all of this, Taylor, and it's just don't get too fucking cute, man. I mean
Yeah.
that's all it is. Don't get too cute.
Yeah, don't get too cute, man. And you take that into anything you're doing, and don't get too cutesy with all or overcomplicate things. Like that we overcomplicate our lives. People go, oh, life's hard. It's challenging, but we make it way more hard than it needs to be. by overcomplicating what we think we want or need or this or that or what ventures we go into. It's like, what do
People
they
get in their
say?
own ways.
Yeah, their own ways of thinking and overcomplicating what you think you can affect or hold change or any sway over our relationships. Man, it's dial it back, downshift a little bit. But the key to all this, Tyler, is self-awareness, right? That understanding of self, which many lack, and I'm still working on. We all are. But are people actually taking time to sit honestly and self-audit? Not many, right? And how do we do that? You're not going to do it driving in the car necessarily, or definitely not on the phone. You do it with I like the morning time because it's quiet and it's very focused and there's not a lot of distraction. That's when you kind of need to do it. It's very hard to do when there's a lot of distraction. You got to quiet that noise. God whispers at us, doesn't shout, right? And it's like, and you can't have noise and distraction if you're going to hear it. And that quiet self-reflection, it's like, all right, what am I doing that can be improved upon? What am I weak at? What am I procrastinating on? Really simplifying down those things. And then once we start identifying and understanding what part do I have in my relationship not being good right now? Right? Like those honest questions, not like, oh, this person's not doing this for me or this for that. It's like that's our primal reptilian brain shit. That's not really that elevated thought process that we need to be using. And that's really what separates men from the boys now. Right? It's what really you start to see somebody who's doing that type of work over a long period of time. Like you see, and I'm not sure how old you are, child. I think you're probably a little younger than me, but I'm about
31.
39.
31.
Yeah, 39. It's like our like kind of age bracket. You're starting to see like you look great, man. Guys that we went to high school with, they either start to look not good or really start to pull ahead, right? It's going to get more and more, and you really start to see who's been doing that work, right? And it's not just physical. It's like some of it's physical, but it's that internal self audit. You see who's getting measures of success and doing things. It starts to separate more and more and more at like our 30s, 40s, and 50s. You see who's doing that honest self reflection because you can't grow if you're not being honest with yourself. You can't. You can't pivot. You can't do anything really smart. You might have a little bit of success at some point, but it's going to all get fucked up if you're not doing honest self-assessment. And so that's why I'm like, I love the game, dude, and time. I'm like, bro, give me more time. I'm like, just let time pass, bro, because I'm just going to keep getting better every fucking day. And good, fine, dude. I don't care how long it takes. I hope it takes 10 years because I'll just pull that much further ahead. And that's why I like to see because the truth comes out. It all gets shaken out of who's actually doing this work. You're not gonna be able to hide.
Yeah, and even if you don't necessarily know what the fuck you're doing, that's all right. Just show up. It's like, dude, I might not know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna be back here fucking tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
dude,
mean?
that's the guy who wins when
Yeah.
he's doing, not trying to think about doing. And people get that analysis paralysis. They're sitting trying to figure out what they need to action or the smart course of action. Yeah, planning has its purposes, but planning is short. Execution is really where actually anything happens. And it's okay, I'm going to keep showing up. I'll keep figuring it out. I'll keep showing up. And it's showing up in the right ways, right? Keep every day working on yourself, every day working on your business, every day working on your faith and your family. Every day, if you keep those pillars really at the focal point, you're going to live an excellent life. It's commitment to excellence is what you're talking about. It's committed to growing and being better and not allowing distraction and that immediate gratification take you off course, which is where like a lot of men will do it. It's like the moral compass gets skewed. It's kind of hard. Let me just off gas. And it's exactly what it is. It takes us off the course that we're really meant to be on.
And that kind of brings me to my next point. At least according to Instagram, you describe yourself as a doer connoisseur.
Yeah, dude.
I fucking love that. I love
Yeah.
that, man. Yeah, dive into that. You just get shit done, or like there's more purpose behind that term, obviously. Plus, it's catchy. I like that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about
Doer
it.
connoisseur, man. I just like talking about shit isn't anything. It's like, bro, a doer connoisseur, and I guess I would say a connoisseur. I'm probably gonna butcher this definition, but like, a connoisseur is somebody that is in this constant path of discovery. That's how I would kind of define like what a connoisseur is. They're in it's this passion of discovery in whatever entity that is. And for me, it's doing, man. It's man, when I think about something I want to do, I do it. I'll do it, and I'll discover what that actually is. And people say, when you lay on your deathbed, you always regret the things you did or didn't do, not the things you did. And I go, not me, because I go, that guy definitely didn't live. I only regret the things I've done because anything I've wanted to do, I fucking did, right? Or I went and tried at least. I failed at stuff too, right? And I'll tell you some of my failures were Like, so when I went into the Foreign Legion, I was gonna screen for their commando unit. Right, they have a commando unit, like a mountain commando group called GCM, Group Commando Mountain. And you have to get invited to screen. You have to be at the mountain regiment or in the Foreign Legion for a few years and be a certain rank, all these different things. I get invited to screen by some of the guys at GCM. I go, man, I fucking failed their run. Like, I failed their run pretty hard and I was in decent shape, but it was just too fast at elevation. And I was just couldn't make it, dude. Right. And I was like, damn, dude. Right. But I did it. I fucking failed. Right. But I did it. And I'm okay with failing. Not in the dumb way of making dumb decisions. That's fucking up. That's different, right? I'm okay at failing at stuff. I'm okay with like, I don't like it. I'm not cheering about it, but it doesn't scare me, right? That actual fear of failure doesn't scare me enough to not try. And that's where people need to kind of inverse that fear. Well, I'll see a lot of guys that want to start a business or they want to invest in something, even in themselves, in something as simple as a program, and they won't. And I'm like, why? Well, they're afraid to spend the money or afraid to tell the wife that, and then not do it, not follow through. And I'm like,
Which is
you
all
should be
such
more terrified.
bullshit, Taylor. It's all
Yeah,
such fucking
I
bullshit.
know. I'm like, you should be more terrified about staying where you're at. That's the correct fear. The fear about staying where you're at has to be greater than the fear of the failure. Nothing's certain on the other side. You going into your business ventures and shit, you're putting in money and time. It's like, fuck, dude, nobody's certain how all this shit's going to work out. The only way you can kind of stack the deck in your favor is to make sure you show up and don't quit. Fucking simple as that. You just keep showing up and not quitting until they drag you out of the building. Done. But that's where people's fear is inversed. Some people use it as a catalyst, and other people use it as an anchor. And that's what I think is an important piece that people really need to understand about themselves. Is my fear an anchor or jet fuel pulling me, not holding me back?
What's your purpose, man?
My purpose, definitely now, is, man, I want to have impact on making people's lives better, and has been fantastic to be able to do that. Right, rolling into this coaching, and I deal with everybody one on one. And dude, I got former SAS operators in Australia and UK, to LEO in the United States, and military guys and business guys and middle-aged women. Whoever wants to get better, that is willing to shake the tree up a little bit. I'm really happy that my story resonates and that we can kind of get some outside accountability and structure their battle rhythm. I just don't show them what I do. Simple as that. Here's, take these supplements, eat like this, wake up like this, think about this shit. Here's how you kind of challenge yourself. Move like this. Be deliberate. My whole purpose boiled down is raising mindfulness in people, raising consciousness and mindfulness in people's lives. Be mindful about what you do every day. Your life will get much better if you're aware of why you're doing certain things, what you should be doing. Some people just need new information. They don't know how to, they don't know. They don't come from the world we come from, which is disciplined structure, right? And so, like, how would you know? You kind of got to be shown certain things. I get that. But people that are willing to listen. Somebody that's willing to listen, because I've had to reach out to mentors that have helped me. And Michael Jordan had a fucking coach, man. The best players in the world have coaches and shit. Why do we think that we're just automatically great? Great business guys have outside mentorship and things. I have one. But you can't see the holes in your own game. That's the purpose. And I like, my purpose is somebody who's willing to change, being able to show them a path that they can take. I can't do it for them, but I can definitely shine light on a path that's going to set them up way better than just wandering through the woods.
And what exactly is it? Is it more mindset stuff, or is it physical fitness type coaching, or like dive into your coaching a little bit more?
Yeah, so it's everything. I go from daily structure, wake up at this fucking time, read this shit, think like this. Here's your macronutrients. Here's how you track your food. Here's what foods to eat, not what to eat, types of foods, and how you actually structure the portions. Right? How you track your macronutrients. What's your protein, carbs, and fats supposed to look like at your body composition and what are goals? Right? These types of things really raise the mindfulness in people and bring back the control. Then once those daily structures and battle rhythm and momentum picks up, like, man, I'm feeling better about myself, right? Because the self-worth is built through the work. Man, now they're starting to become a little more patient, a little more clear. Once that daily physical structure is set better and on the correct path, then we set the next professional goals. All right, because that's important too for men. It's not just about working out and curling this and eating fucking broccoli. That's not going to be fulfilling for very much time. What's the next professional goals? What lifestyle do you want? Getting clear on your goals, dude. If you want to live in a teepee by the beach or a big house in the mountains, that's two totally different paths. Get clear on which direction that is. That's huge, because I'll ask people, what do you want? They're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, that's important, right? And that's something you don't need to know tomorrow morning. But that's something that I don't think that we seek. I think God shows us. And so I tell them that it's not something that you need to set these stakes in and force your way to this path. I go sit down in the morning and fucking pray and kind of open up. What type of, who do you want to be in the future? So that's the what. It's not the car and the house. That stuff will paint itself around it. But who do you see in the future? That cool, calm, collected, disciplined, and shape fulfilled person. Who is that? Where is that person? Where are they standing? Who is the person in that house? That's more what I try to focus on with people. So it's visualization, goal setting, and yeah, then it's training, right? Bodyweight circuits and actual, doesn't have to be, we're not trying to get into speedo on stage. That's not what I do, right? That doesn't interest me. And so it's business athletes, right? The guys who just want to be better men or women. It's like, man, just want to feel better in their own skin. That's what we do, right? And so that has the ability to, how do we do it sustainably? It's not just crash diet. This isn't, hey, do this for 3 months and then kind of fall off. It's, let's restructure and rewire pathways of how you actually, who you are. It's not this isn't a course. This is your new life. It's totally different, right? That's how I really try to root it. Like, this is just what you do now till we're pushing flowers. So let's make sure you like it. It can't be that hard, which sounds kind of weird for like somebody like me to say. I don't like shit that's that hard because I'll convince myself to not do it. There will be a week I'll be like, nah, I'm not going to say I'm going to run 10 miles every day because I fucking won't at some point, right? I just won't. I'll be like, no, fuck that. So it's not setting the bar at that. It's like, man, I want to go in, get a good pump and fucking get the fuck out of there. I'm not trying to spend 2 hours in the gym. And that's why I say, let's structure these things so you like it. You know how to eat. It feels good. You're not starving. You're not full. It's not a struggle because you'll do that till you're 80. And that's the whole point, is I want people doing this shit till they're pushing flowers. And that's what we say, restructuring people's identity, how they see themselves in a much more sustainable, healthy way.
This is fucking crazy. I didn't really know exactly what you did, obviously, until now when I asked the question.
Yeah.
But our companies are very, very, very fucking similar. It's super refreshing. You're using a lot of the same terminology that I use. You think pretty similar to the way that I think. I know a lot of my guys are gonna end up listening. This will be like, who's talking right now, Taylor or Tyler?
Dude,
But
let's
why?
get some synergy on some stuff, dude. That's why this stuff's so good, man, because
Yes.
there's a reason we're all kind of coming to these answers at the same time. There's a movement happening,
Yes.
right? And it's like this raising of mindfulness and consciousness movement that's happening now. And that's how we, not to get too grandiose, but that's how we fix the country. It's how we fix the world. It's like man by man, family by family, community by community, just people getting better and holding themselves to a higher standard and being more accountable to themselves first.
Yes.
And that's like, dude, the accountability to yourself, it doesn't have to be a struggle every day. It's not going to be, it's going to be challenging, but it shouldn't be a struggle, right? We all have our proclivities, but it's like, man, is that really who I want to be? That type of thing, man. I can hold myself a little restraint here. And that done over a period of time is powerful.
What I love most about what you said a second ago is like, this is what you do now. This is your life now. I say that all the fucking time, dude, because it's absolute God's honest truth. This isn't a 3-month fucking ordeal over here, big dog. It's not.
Dude, this is get buckle in, dude. And so let's figure out how to make this work for you. Like, this just, man, if you can only guarantee you're gonna go walk and maybe do some push-ups in a day, good. Well, then let's get buckled down on that. And then I tell people just to start there, and then their momentum picks up, though, right?
Yes.
Then they're adding more stuff in. It's like, okay, if you're just gonna do that, then we got to tighten up the food, right, to get to whatever goals you want. Like, there has to be a give and a take, right? People that want to, I'm like, are you gonna really? This is why CrossFit's great, works, very effective, but it's really fucking hard.
Yes.
Right? It's really hard. And so it's challenging as shit. And not everybody, fuck me included, is going to like mentally check in like that every day. Dude, I don't want to fucking go to some dark place every day. And like, I would find that I would opt out at some point, it's 6 months or a year or whatever. And that's what I find with people, and injuries. That's the other piece, is like, let's do these things smart. I do everything kind of lower weight, higher rep, if we're talking about weights. It's just how I like to lift. Higher volume, better squeeze, better mind muscle connection. And I think as we get older, we get smarter. And then, when we're younger, we're trying to push weight around, but you realize you're not even really getting that good results. It's like the mind muscle connection is huge. So all these pieces, man, I'm glad you got some synergy on it, because like I said at the beginning, the real ones get it, dude. This is how it's supposed to be. And people love what I get the best kind of feeling from is when people go, damn, dude, I fucking feel good now, man. Like, my relationship's better. I'm not going to lose my job now, which was on the rocks. Like things start to align when we get aligned. I go, isn't that magic? Your life's better when you start being better.
Yes.
Magic.
Yeah. A lot of similarities, man. It's really making my heart happy. This is honestly making my whole entire day. I want everybody to win, man. What separates you from the next guy? Why should people work from you? Plug your stuff.
Yeah, man. I say, man, I don't care who people reach out to. Me, you, I just want someone to make a call. But it has to be somebody you resonate with. It has to be somebody that you admire who they are and what they have, or are living a life that you like. That's important. It has to resonate. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Me neither, dog.
Yeah, and dude, and I go fine. But if you're not going to talk to Taylor, talk to Tyler. Talk to somebody, but don't just sit there and do fuck all and think you're going to figure it out. I go, big dog, you're 50. You haven't figured it out yet. You ain't stumbling across it. And why courses are amazing, and I don't even like the word course. Mentorship really is more of a better term. Is it's expedited information. It's the cliff notes. Here you go, dude. This took me 10 years to figure out. You might figure it out in 5 years. How much time and money are you going to waste doing that and just quality of life? Or you can get chopped up in 6 months. I know what I would choose, and that's what I did. And when I decided to pull the trigger on learning macros and stuff from somebody in the game, it was game changer. I go, oh, dude, this is kind of how it is, and this is helpful. Right? That was so make an investment in yourself. You ain't gonna get something for nothing. So you get what you pay for. And that's the other piece is, dude, invest in yourself. You don't expect to go somebody to fix your roof and it's gonna be done for free, man. You invest and you get what you pay for. So, but you're the best investment. You're the highest ROI. You're your quality of life. People will go. There's that old Stoic quote, which I like, which is, people are fearless regarding their vices, but act like mere mortals regarding like progress and change, personal development. So true. People will go drop a G at the fucking bar, but won't in one night on some dumb shit, but won't spend, the same amount on a program that'll change their life forever. It's like the psychology, and I do it too, right? It's like this weird psychology we do because it's like, well, I know I'm going to get this immediate gratification from here, and this is an uncertain thing, even though it's the ROI on its way higher. So to answer your question specifically, man, work with me if I resonate with you, right? I do everything one-on-one. I don't AI anything. Anybody, as you know, if you reach out to me, you talk to me. On my website, taylorcavanaugh.com, that contact form goes right to my personal email. You're going to tell, you're always going to talk to me, and I do that by design. I do everything one-on-one, so you're going to get tailored kind of your macros, your training, your daily life, because everybody's different, right? Your lifestyle has to adjust to what we're trying to do because we need to build it in a sustainable way. So I have to know you personally to do that. Now, there's some basic frameworks, right? And there's some basic things that will be helpful to get people rolling. And then we take the course heading and then we just tighten. And if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, reach out to me.
I want to be respectful of your time, man. I got one more thing. I know we
Yeah,
got
bro.
60 minutes here. How do you want to be remembered? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit with your purpose, but diving a little bit deeper when this shit's all said and done and it's a wrap for Taylor Cavanaugh.
Yeah, I would
What
say
do you want?
I want people to remember me. They're like, dude, that guy impacted a lot of people in a positive way. That's it, man. That's how I want my life to be remembered. They're like, damn, dude. Like when people look back, they go look at thousands of people like, man, really impacted, sent a really positive ripple effect. And if I could take my pain, which is really where this launched, is the story was built off pain. And then it's the requirement to figure out how to feel better. And then getting this package and being like, man, now I can deliver it to people in this clean packaged way. Hey, man, do this and you're going to feel way better fast, right? It's not going to be easy. And I don't guarantee it's not going to have challenging moments, but you're going to definitely be living in a better state of mind forever if you exercise these daily principles. That's how I want people to remember me is, man, he impacted people positively.
On a less serious note, this is how I'm going to leave this. I need to know the story. You got a grill in? What's the deal with the teeth?
Oh, these are real. Yeah, dude,
Those
this
are
is,
fucking baller, dude.
yeah,
Those are
man, dude.
sick.
Yeah, people are like, you got a grill in? I go, no, these are my teeth, man. I had a lot of chips, military and fighting and different stuff, but I had a lot of chips and a lot of ceramics. And through the military, dude, they just kept having chips and they fallen out and this and that. And
Yeah.
so I was in the Foreign Legion and it took like a month and I'm like, dude, I got to get these fixed. And I always liked gold teeth just in general, but I wanted them solid.
You
I didn't
brush
want
those
ceramic.
fuckers?
Huh? Yeah, like you floss and brush like normal. They're individually gold teeth. And I
Caps?
went to Turkey, man. And I went to Turkey and I'm like talking to the dentist. I'm like, can you just blast all the bottom and 14 karat hard gold? And he's like, are you sure? And he's like, if you got the money, I'll do it. And then I spent a week down there and they did them and they came and they put all the teeth in, man, and that was it.
That's fucking cool. I noticed those on your page the other day. I was like, "Is my dude got a grill in right now? I gotta ask him about
Yeah,
that."
people ask, they go, "Who is grill? Like, who makes it? Like, can I see?" I'm like, "No, this is my teeth, man."
Man, this was a huge honor, a lot of fun. You're a wealth of knowledge, man. I'd love to do it again down the road, but I appreciate the fuck out of you for coming on. I know you're a busy man, so thank you,
Yeah, man.
Taylor.
Hey, Tyler, dude, let's get some synergy on some stuff, and I appreciate everybody watching. Y'all have a great day.
Awesome. Hey, stay on the line and I'll get you out of here. Cool?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know the Riverside uploads a little bit.
Yeah, well,